To finish off the year, we have on December 25th, Christmas Day. This is another sad story involving a child, so buckle up, folks. JonBenét Ramsey. She is killed on Christmas Day, probably. It could be December 26th, depending on what you think happened. But anyway, her mom, Patsy, finds a 2.5-page handwritten ransom note demanding $118,000 for the return of JonBenét Ramsey because she is apparently missing. I don't know if she looked in the bedroom first or if she saw the note first. That's not something I looked into. I did read a lot about this case, though. The amount that they asked for was nearly identical to the father, John Ramsey's, previous year's Christmas bonus. And this obviously was Christmas Day. Why do they know exactly how much that was? Who knows?
I was going to say it's a very specific amount of money.
Yes. I mean, there's countless details that people raise questions about. So, when you have something you want to question about, just let me know because I'll pause this.
Yeah.
The note and also a practice draft, apparently, were written with a pen and notepad from the Ramseys' home. So it was basically they were saying this was an intruder that came in, sat down and wrote this note out. I guess practiced it first too, and then wrote it again, 2.5 pages, to take her. Then took her. There was part of the note that said don't call the police, but she called the police, which, I don't fault her for that. If it is a note that says don't call the police, I'm still probably going to do it if my daughter's missing,
Yeah.
I'm not just going to take it into my own hands. But she also called a bunch of family and friends. Also not that suspicious, I guess. But then a bunch of the friends and family were cleaning the kitchen and stuff while they were there. So they ended up kind of contaminating the scene, ruining possible evidence of who knows whose fingerprints and things like that. Because the cops were there looking for a kidnapper, they focused their attentions in that direction. So they didn't see any signs of forced entry. They were trying to find a path that the kidnapper could have escaped through. And one of the officers came to a door that was locked from the inside. I mean, from the place that he was. You know what I mean? He was looking at a locked door that had been locked from his side of it. So he didn't go through it. I think it was either in the basement or it led to the basement. I couldn't be clear about that. I think it was a little room in the basement, though. But he was the kidnapper couldn't have gone through that door and then locked it with this little wooden latch at the top of it. So I'm not going to check it behind it. That was the door that the next morning JonBenét Ramsey would be found behind. He didn't look because, that's not what he was looking for. I mean, again, I don't know if I fault him, but I probably would have given it a gander,
Yeah, I feel like you should be covering your bases at that point. But
yeah, I mean, but I just don't think they didn't expecting. Yeah. And so the father found her in the morning, and he brought her upstairs, further contaminating any sort of evidence that might have been at the scene. I don't know, again, it's hard to blame him for wanting to move his daughter from the position he found her, The autopsy said she died by strangulation and a skull fracture. It also revealed that she had eaten pineapple a few hours before her death, which is noteworthy because it changes their story a little bit. There were pictures of the home on the day she was found that showed a bowl of pineapple with a spoon on the counter. So it's obviously she had been eating this at some point in the nighttime. And their story initially was they had come home from a Christmas party at their friend's house, and she was asleep, so they put her right to bed, and then that was the last time they checked on her. But then it was well, she's got pineapple in her stomach, and it's there. They weren't serving pineapple at this party. People have looked into all of this stuff, And also then it's okay, if somebody was sitting up writing a note, it's okay, here, honey, eat some pineapple while mommy writes something,
Mm-hmm.
Or anybody, who knows. But nobody's ever been caught. There's a bunch of defamation suits and stuff like that the Ramseys have levied against people for insinuating that it might be them.
I think it's them. From what you just told me, it sounds it's them.
That is, yeah, it's hard to say how biased am I. I don't know. I was just reading this shit and writing it down. You know what I mean? This wasn't I didn't look up the conspiracy theory website and go, give me all the information about what this is. I just kind of was I find this noteworthy to write. That's kind of most of the information we have about it. I did put some editorializations in there a little bit, but I just think there's some things that raise questions. I do think it's right to question this,
Yeah, for sure. I think the weirdest part of it is that there was a practice note Because if you were going to kidnap somebody, you would write the note and bring it with you. Why
Yeah.
the fuck would you sit at the girl's desk in her room or wherever the hell it was?
It was the
and write it?
kitchen, yeah. The
You know
kitchen
what I
where
mean?
the pineapple bowl was.
And where were the parents during the writing of the 45-minute note?
Yeah.
Because if you did it twice and it's 2 pages, I doubt you got I doubt you got 3 sentences in and was like, this is not cutting it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Also, one of the neighbors said they saw lights on in the kitchen around midnight. And that's where,
I
like...
think it was the parents. We might get a defamation lawsuit, Trey. I'm just saying. I think it was them.
I also do. I think the parents probably had something to do with this. There's one theory out there. This one's very interesting, and I don't know how much I didn't really look into this one. That the brother was like 9, and that there's a chance that he hit her with something heavy because he was like upset with her. He didn't realize he wasn't trying to murder her, but like he accidentally killed her, and then to cover it up, the parents just made this whole elaborate scheme, then realized she wasn't actually dead, and we're like, well, we've gone too far, so they had to like strangle her at that point.
Interesting.
Yes,
That's crazy.
Very, very sad way to close out the year. Fuck,
Right?
that's all the news, you guys. We're done with sad stories from the year 1996. But I told you it was dangerous out there. I'm glad we had our helmets on our head and our head on a swivel, like that guy said. I thought he was full of shit.
Damn, he wasn't joking. Can we go back and talk to that guy? I just wasn't listening.